At the beginning of the 1962 film Lawrence of Arabia, William Potter is presented a small magic trick. Lawrence extinguishes a burning match by pinching it between his fingers. Upon attempting the trick himself, Potter burns his finger. Believing there to be something greater at play, he asks Lawrence the secret. What's the trick? Only to have Lawrence reply,
"The trick, William Potter, is not minding that it hurts."
Often the best tricks are about believing that there is one. 2006 The Prestige, directed by Christopher Nolan, is a movie about magic. But like a lot of Nolan's work, it's also a movie about film. How magic and film are burdened by the same ambitions, the same prestige. Just like in the film, it shows the great lengths people are willing to go to create something special within them. The film opens on the dialogue, "Are you watching closely?"
Are you watching closely?
Like a magic trick, the movie itself indulges the audience to pay attention, to cast a probing eye. For what we are about to see will shock and amaze us. The narration then continues, and it's explained how a magic trick works. The 3 acts that every trick must take, like the 3 acts in a film.
Every magic trick consists of 3 parts, or acts.
The movie explains how all great magic tricks come down to a simple premise. Make the impossible seem possible. Escape a death trap, catch a bullet, or bend metal together. Make something disappear and have it reappear right before our eyes. Essentially, it's about believing in something that you know isn't real. Nolan, as a filmmaker, probably couldn't help but notice how his craft parallels with spectacular illusions created by magicians. How both crafts share a deep connection to each other, for both want the audience to believe what they're seeing is real and rely on us, the viewer, to make it so. Magic, like any craft, demands devotion. It demands sacrifice.
All the time, Olivia. That's who he is. That's what it takes. He lives, he's acts. Don't you see?
In a pivotal scene in the film, Borden and Angier are told to watch an old Chinese magician. The centerpiece act, the magician waves a cloth, conjuring a fishbowl that seemingly appears from nowhere. Borden, played by Christian Bale, notices the man himself is the deception. He uses his own body and appearance to create the illusion. The act itself is the trick. This coincides with acting in film, as actors essentially trick us into believing they're different people in whatever film they're in. Like magic, acting is about fooling people into believing. That's the magic of acting in film. Like Lawrence must resist pain in order to put out the match, so too will the protagonists in order to achieve their goals. Both characters, Borden and Angier, form a bitter rivalry with each other, over an obsession to perform the better trick, the transporting man. Not unlike trying to create the better film. It's no coincidence the trick never changes, only the spectacle involved. The method to performing it always remains the same. It always takes a double. Similar to film, tools might change, but the craft remains the same. Yet, like Angier in the film, Hollywood wants to believe there's something greater at play. Angier and Borden both represent aspects of the Hollywood machine in filmmaking. Borden, the more competent magician, is completely dedicated to the craft, trusting in originality and self-sacrifice, ultimately believing the illusion itself can stand on its own without gimmicks or spectacle. Angier, on the other hand, is the better performer, believing in only the approval of the audience.
It was the look on their faces.
Stealing old ideas while adding flair and class to make it digestible for the masses. Like filmmaking in Hollywood, Borden is a risk taker, trying to create new experiences. He rejects spectacle and relies on simple methods to create his tricks, believing the trick itself is the most important aspect. Similar to the art of filmmaking, Borden parallels directors like Nolan, who uses practical effects and tries to create an original film with every new outing, ultimately beholden to the craft of film itself. Angier is the opposite. Angier uses old ideas and relies on money and technology in an attempt to create a better version of a trick. Similar to Hollywood using money and technology to justify them rehashing remake after remake and sequel after sequel.
I need to know how he does it.
Why?
So I can do it better.
Hollywood is beholden to the whims of the audience, and like Angier, he begs for their approval. It's no coincidence that to perform Angier's final version of the transporting man, he literally must kill 100 copies of himself. Essentially, he becomes the ultimate copycat. This brings us to another theme running through the film: copying versus originality. The film's all about doubles and multiples, repetition and replication, the struggle to find the real in a sea of imitators. A subtle hint towards the audience about the homogenization of the Hollywood machine. The film's budgets have become so excessively large that risks can no longer be taken. Instead, tried and true formulas are tacked on and regurgitated over and over again. Like Angier, Hollywood's obsession with seeking acclaim from its audience needs to die. Borden is two people trying to inhabit the one person. He shows how having two mindsets being pulled into two different directions is doomed to failure. One must die in order to achieve stability. He, in some way, represents the filmmaker's struggle in Hollywood, as does the creator attempt to please the audience by compromising his vision, or does he become steadfast in his convictions? The film doesn't give an answer either way. It just portrays that both mindsets can't exist together. One is doomed to failure. All this is why The Prestige is worth studying here alone. However, the film on a surface level has a powerful message itself. How passion and obsession are so close together that it's hard to differentiate the two. The perils of not letting your obsession go and the soul-destroying life it can create.
It won't bring your wife back.
I don't care about my wife, I care about his secret.
Technically, it's Borden's twin that gets hanged at the end, but really, it's Borden's obsession that dies. The mindset that needed to be his rival Angier and be the ultimate magician.
You're right, I should have left him with his damn trick. I'm sorry.
What is left is a man who is finally at peace in his life. As the film shows, magic is just an illusion, a trick, and it's the audience itself that wants to be fooled, for whom wants to believe. Like film, the power in magic is believing that it's real. This has been Jamie on The Prestige, and if you've made it this far to the video, I want to thank you for watching.